The fifth and final module of the Human Capital Framework is around ongoing performance management, and specifically career tracking and succession planning. The ongoing performance management piece of the Human Capital Framework entails items like evaluation and professional development discussed in a different module, and also entail career tracking, staffing models, and succession planning, which are discussed here. This will help you understand how you plan for succession in your district. A robust performance management system can develop and support educators to become more effective. A critical piece of this is career tracking and succession planning. Let's talk more about it. Today, many organizations practice replacement planning instead of career tracking. Replacement planning is about finding backups to fill vacancies on an organization chart, whereas career tracking is about grooming the talent needed in the future in the district to ensure its long-term success. In a national survey, school districts were asked, how are decisions made about successors for positions in your organization? The top two answer choices were 1. When a position opens up, we rely on expediency to identify someone to fill it, hoping for the best. The number 2 answer was that districts do prepare successors, but they do it in secret. School districts must shift their focus to grooming the talent needed for the future and effectively planning for succession. Let's talk about some tips on ways to do that effectively. Career tracking and succession planning can actually be accomplished in a few easy steps, and following these will help you effectively career track and plan for succession within your school district. One of the steps to follow is to use performance and potential to understand your district's growing leaders. Another step is to use rating scores to manage and communicate career planning across the organization. A third step, understanding your bench strengths today to actively plan for succession tomorrow. And a fourth and final step is to develop individualized development plans to manage leadership growth for key employees across the organization. Let's dig further into each of these steps. The first step to effectively career track and plan for succession is to use performance and potential to understand your district's growing leaders. To do so, try using the performance potential grid. Along the y-axis or vertical, you can see past performance range from low to high. On the x-axis, the horizontal, you can see future potential, also rated from low to high. If the person you are evaluating shows low past performance and low future potential, they are considered underperforming. If a candidate shows low future potential, yet current high performance, this shows that they're well suited for their current position. On the flip side, if the candidate shows high future potential, but low past performance, they may warrant investment for the future to bring up that performance level. This would bring them up to a place of high future potential and high past performance, the quadrant that we call your stars to develop further. It is important to note that each quadrant requires a separate strategy when you're thinking about career tracking. A second step to follow for better career tracking and succession planning is to use rating scores to manage and communicate these activities. Going back to our performance and potential grid, when you think about performance, think about where a candidate falls on that low to high spectrum. Do they deliver unsatisfactory results, or are they marginal, satisfactory, above average, superior, or exceptional? Think about this. When you consider a candidate's future potential, if it's high, it might be outstanding. If it's a bit lower, considerable. Otherwise, they might have some or limited potential, or they might have key capacity issues indicating low potential. This is but a sample structure for how to construct a performance potential grid for evaluating employees. But think about the fact that in the bottom left-hand quadrant, the one that indicates low potential and low past performance, you should only have about 10 to 15% of your organization. The high future potential and high past performance quadrant, however, should include 20 to 25% of your organization, with the remaining employees falling in the high potential, low performance or low performance, high potential category. The third step in effective career tracking and succession planning is understanding your current bench strength that you have in your organization. To develop a bench strength inventory for the organization, list potential successors for each key position. The key position might be positions on the executive team in the central office of the district. They might be principal positions, or if this is done at the school level, they may be even within schools for heads of school departments. After you've identified a series of potential successors for each key position, no matter which way you defined that, assign a ranking to the potential successors. Is this successor a level 1 successor, one that's ready now, or potentially in 1 year? Or is this successor a level 2 successor, ready in 1 to 2 years? Still, is this successor a level 3 successor? There's no successor in the 5-year time frame. In that case, eliminate this person from consideration. You might then consider dropping the potential successors for each key position and title into a chart design so you're able to see what the potential future organizational structure in the district might look like. Please remember that bench strength is a measure of how deep management talent reaches in your organization. It is important to understand. Measuring your organization's bench strength allows you to monitor the availability of future leaders and may feed into your recruiting strategy. The fourth and final step for effective career tracking and succession planning is to develop individualized development plans, or IDPs, to manage leadership growth for key employees. There are several steps to follow to develop individualized development plans. The first is to select key positions for which to prepare individuals. The second is to establish the time frame for preparation. The third step, diagnose learning and competency building needs so you're able to fill those. The fourth, to specify learning objectives based on diagnosis. The fifth step is to specify resources and strategies needed to achieve objectives. The sixth is to specify metrics and evidence of accomplishment so you're able to track your successes. The seventh step in developing an individualized development plan is to specify how the evidence will be validated. The eighth step is to review the individualized development plan with a third party for verification. The ninth step is to carry out the plan, and the final and 10th step is evaluate the learning and the outcomes of the individualized development plan. Bottom line is that an individualized development plan can be used to focus developmental effort on an individual's leadership competencies required for advancement. This concludes the career tracking and succession planning module within ongoing performance management of the Human Capital Toolkit.